Number 10. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was in the news for a lot of reasons in the early 2010s, whether it was her mental breakdown or her party escapades. The paparazzi was right there, ready to capture every little moment on camera. One night, Lindsay was in a van when it collided with a member of the paparazzi, smashing into the side door. The driver of the car was rushed to the hospital and an investigation took place, but it was ultimately revealed that the only person who was actually at fault was the driver of Lindsay's van. She's famous. Did you actually think that she drove her own vehicles? Despite the paparazzi clearly attempting to photograph Lohan at the time of the crash, like they're the reason it happened, the incident was chalked up to, look where you're going next time. I don't know, the driver of the van, Raymond Ortega, claims that Lindsay didn't even check to make sure that he was okay when he crashed into that car. Hey man, she was just a bit too focused on the man she just hit. Number 9. Kanye West. Kanye may claim to love the paparazzi, but his track record has shown anything but that. In 2013, well before Mr. Yeet canceled himself on Twitter, he was involved in an investigation set in place by the LAPD after it was reported by a paparazzo that Kanye had struck him and a fellow paparazzi one night at LAX. When Kanye got off a plane, he was being photographed by numerous photographers. So many people were surrounding him. One man named Daniel Ramos was particularly close to Kanye, and he did not appreciate Dan getting in his personal space. A video shows Kanye rushing at Ramos and attempting to grab his camera. Ultimately, the LAPD decided not to press any charges, but the case was referred to a city attorney who filed misdemeanor charges against the rapper. This wasn't the first time that this type of thing had happened to Mr. Yee. In 2008, he was involved in a similar confrontation with another paparazzo. The rapper smashed his camera and was subsequently arrested on charges of felony, and on top of a few smaller charges that forced him to serve 50 hours of community service. Number 8. Britney Spears. As many know, Britney began a downward spiral health-wise in 2007. After her divorce from Kevin Federline, she not only shaved her head, but she went on a rage-fueled rampage across the city, taking down anyone in her path, like Godzilla or something. After being swarmed by photographers at a gas station in LA, she went on a rampage, wielding an umbrella and swinging it at them over and over, and even hitting one of their cars, smashing the window. She also hurled expletives at anyone and everyone who had a camera, eventually launching her umbrella towards the crowd. This was the main incident that landed her in a psychiatric hold, but the paparazzi captured every single moment of it on camera, so the only thing the world saw of her for a bit was this mess. Let's hope she's doing better now. Number 7. Hugh Grant. When people see Hugh Grant, they think rom-com sweetheart, the bad guy from Dungeons and Dragons, or soon it's gonna be Oompa Loompa. It's just a creepy image. Just don't watch that trailer. But anybody with the news in 2008 remembers him as a bean waster. A paparazzo named Ian Whitaker was following Hugh around his neighborhood, trying to snap as many quality pics as possible. Grant noticed him and walked over to ask him to leave. I'm just kidding, he walked over and started kicking the heck out of him. 3 times to be more specific, before he literally kneed him in the groin. He then picked up and opened a family-sized can of baked beans and just chucked it at Ian like he was launching a nade into the battlefield. He then stood over the photographer like a freaking Bond villain and he asked him, "Do you have any children?" And when he said yes, Grant said something that I'm not allowed to say on the internet. It was just that messed up. He's scary. Police were eventually called to his home where he was arrested and charged with, well, he physically kneed a guy. So it was in the most sensitive area ever. If anything, they should have taken him to jail forever. That hurts so much. Number 6, Will Smith. That's right, Will Smith is on this list for slapping someone, but it's not Chris Rock. I just figured we all know about that one. Hey, it's why he was canceled. What are we talking about today? Oh yeah, an incident on the red carpet that left one paparazzo with a big red mark on his face. Will was walking the red carpet at his Men in Black 3 premiere, giving people interviews when a Ukrainian comedian named Vitaly Sejik approached him. A man who is unfortunately famous for being an absolutely disgusting person towards celebrities. He pretended to be a reporter and he began interviewing Will Smith. He suddenly pulled himself towards Smith and he tried to kiss him on the cheek in his mouth, and Will obviously shoved him back and gave him a little, "Hey bud, what the just a little backhand to the face, nothing major," and then he was gone. A team of security following Mr. Smith picked this guy up and carried him away like the little toddler that he was. Who knew Will was practicing for his Oscar slap all the way back then? Number Number 5. Justin Bieber. Justin is no stranger to the paparazzi. They basically filmed every terrible moment of his adolescence so that he can just go online, Google himself, and cry whenever he wants. Back in 2013, the Biebs was on tour in London when the paparazzi caught wind of his location. They followed him around the city everywhere he went. One day, Justin was trying to get into his SUV when a paparazzo yelled something at him. Probably something gross and rude. Honestly, the video I watched was a little muffled, so who knows? You know how the paparazzi are though. Bieber was about to close the door shut, but he opened it back up and he took a swing and said, "Hey, what'd you say, man? What'd you say? I'll beat the F out of you." And he looked like a child doing it. It's not a great move, but it was understandable as the camera person clearly made contact with Justin before spouting whatever nonsense they were spouting. The photographer tried to press charges, but the cops were just kind of like, excuse me, mate, that's Justin Bieber. What's the point? Unfortunately for the Biebs, memes were becoming very popular in the early 2010s. Thousands of Photoshop pictures were spread across the internet, and Justin cemented himself as a paparazzi go-to, because they were like, he's easy to gaslight, let's do it. Number 4. Sean Penn. This is an older entry, but it's still worth talking about because it's kind of neat. Shortly before his marriage to Madonna in 1985, Sean Penn noticed a helicopter hovering around his Malibu beach home. Once he realized that it was filled with paparazzi trying to snap pictures of him, Sean took matters into his own hands. He walked down to the beach and carved a message out in 20-foot letters that said, "Forget you." Remember that song? Nah, I'm just kidding. It said, "Fuck you." If that wasn't enough of a message for them, he decided to double down by grabbing his personal safety bang bang and fired it into the air. According to guests at their home at the time, Sean came back and said, "I would be very excited to see one of those choppers crash and burn." This guy sounds like a James Bond bad guy. Seriously, he could team up with the other dude. "I would very much enjoy watching you burn, Mr. Bond." This wasn't the first or last time that Sean would get a little bit extreme with the paparazzi. At least those guys were in a helicopter. In 2008, Sean reportedly kicked and punched a paparazzo who was trying to snap pictures outside of a hotel that he was staying at in Beverly Hills. Apparently, the guy went through his trash to get the information on where he was, so got what he deserved. People blasted Sean for being physical, but come on, if someone popped up at your house after finding your information in a trash can, wouldn't you want to kick them too? Number 3. Tobey Maguire. Ever since he first squeezed his face into our lives in the original live-action Spider-Man franchise, Tobey has been seen as a quiet man who gives off a calm uncle vibe. As such, he's been casted in many roles following Spider-Man that leaned into that tendency. You know, Nick Carraway in the film Great Gatsby, and well, that's about the best example I've got. However, as the years went on and paparazzi began swarming Tobey at every opportunity, he's been pegged as an angry man who just hates having his picture being taken. In one video that has since gone viral, Tobey is swarmed by the paparazzi while trying to drive out of a parking lot in LA. He yells at the paparazzi to move after he had politely asked them to, accidentally slamming a door into a cameraman in frustration. Since then, anyone with a camera is seen as a threat to Tobey, so much so that he will either give you the most horrifying glare of your life if he sees you taking a picture of him, or he'll just straight up take your camera away. Like, how mean can you be just to snap someone's phone out of their hand? If you did it with a web though, that would be a different story. Number 2, Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman is a wonderful actor, but apparently she does not make a good caution cone. In 2013, she was trying to enter the Carlisle Hotel in Manhattan after returning home from a Calvin Klein show at New York Fashion Week. You know, just your average Tuesday. Suddenly, a notorious paparazzo crashed into Nicole going full speed on his bicycle. In the video, it looks like he tries to make a half-hearted attempt to stop himself, but like, get off the sidewalk, dude! It's not called the side bike! I'm sorry, if I write it, I have to read it. Freelance photographer Carl Wu was lucky this time. Despite knocking her to the ground and her threatening to press charges, the police decided not to arrest him and instead issued a ticket for riding his bike on the sidewalk. They said an accident's an accident, but this dude was literally holding a massive camera and trying to take pictures of Nicole while he was riding a bike. If I jog into someone I was staring down while holding a battle axe, is that an accident or just a clever way to get revenge on the guy who cut me off at No Frills? It was my turn! Nicole walked away with no injuries, and it was revealed that this was not Carl's first interaction with celebrities in such an outlandish way. He ran into Lady Gaga at an awards show the year before, behaving inappropriately to say the least. A Tumblr page was made for Carl called FU Carl Wu, and there is a word that you haven't heard in a bit. Tumblr. tumbler. In 2023, that's the name of those fancy adult sippy cups. And at number 1, Leonardo DiCaprio. Capping off our list is the Wolf of Wall Street himself, Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio. Leo's had a few run-ins with paparazzi over the years. In fact, in 2014, he fell victim to that Ukrainian prankster that tried to kiss Will Smith. Only this time, the guy decided to snuggle up to Leo's nether regions. But he actually handled that situation pretty well. He laughed it off, and I swear he's mouthing the words, "I love this guy." Well, that guy got tossed out like a napkin, and it's not why he's on this list. The year before, Leo was on his way to meet up with his Wolf of Wall Street co-star Jonah Hill for lunch, when he decided to pull a little pranky poo on Jonah. He ran up to him with his phone, screaming like a crazy fan, and it only took Jonah 2 seconds to realize what was going on, but according to him, his Wolf of Wall Street buddy basically gave him a heart attack. He was beyond scared. When the news found out that tiny piece of information that Jonah was a little scared, the paparazzi blew it up into Leo almost takes out Jonah Hill. There was way too much of a scandal caused from what was just a light-hearted, fun moment between friends.
At number 10, Lil Nas X. This year, Lil Nas X made a lot of headlines. He released a new album, rocked red carpets, but also got himself into quite the scandal as well. On March 26, 2021, Lil Nas X released his song Montero, or Call Me By Your Name, and both the song and subsequent music video was hit with a lot of backlash. The song included some adult themes, as it would, but the majority of the backlash for this release came from the rapper's music video. The video had a heaven and hell theme and included Nas dancing for the devil, so to speak. You know what I mean. A lot of people didn't like the video because of how raunchy it was and because of the biblical imagery and themes. But as if that wasn't enough backlash, Nas also got himself into some pretty big trouble when he released a collaborative shoe with Mischief that they called the Satan shoe. These sneakers were a redesign of the Nike Air Max 97s, and because this design wasn't authorized by Nike, Nas and Mischief got in trouble. They also faced backlash for putting a quote, single drop of human blood in the sole of the shoe. For a couple of weeks, Nas faced all kinds of backlash, but he didn't let that knock him down. He remained pretty unfazed by the whole thing and bounced back from the scandal with no problem, but for a couple of weeks there, he became Twitter's public enemy number 1. At number 9, David Dobrik. YouTuber and former Viner David Dobrik is one of YouTube's biggest creators, but this year he got royally cancelled. Other than being super popular on the platform with over 18 million subscribers, he's also found success in Hollywood as well, since he's been cast on TV shows as a host and judge on a few game shows. However, this year David's popularity started to fall and his praise turned into scrutiny as people started to come forward with allegations of and bullying against David. Former members of David's YouTube friend group called the Vlog Squad came forward calling David out for bullying and creating a toxic environment, as well as orchestrating pranks that resulted in one friend getting hurt. On top of that, a former fan came forward naming a Vlog Squad member as the person who hurt them while they were under the influence, and also called David out for filming part of their alleged. Because of David's content, he caused a lot of controversy, emotional pain, and distress, and he's only recently bounced back from the drama he faced earlier this year. Before we carry on reflecting on this year's past scandals, why not leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, maybe consider smashing that subscribe button as well to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Armie Hammer. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this scandal by now, but this one has to be on the list because it was the first one that really blew up this year and it kicked off the celebrity scandals of 2021. Back in January, some of Armie's private messages with other women came to light, depicting the actor in a not so flattering way. The messages leaked by the Instagram page House of Effie exposed the actor for his bedroom fantasies, among other adult things, and this created a snowball effect that led to multiple people coming forward with their own allegations of misconduct against the actor. Things took a serious turn and soon an investigation was launched to look into some of the claims made by some of Armie's alleged victims. Because of the scandal and its severity, this took a huge toll on Armie and his career. As we know, no one is quick to forget a scandal like this one in Hollywood, so as a result of the drama and allegations against him, Armie started losing everything he worked for, including movie roles and representation in the industry. No one knows what the next step is for him, or even if there is a next step for him to take. At number 7, Marilyn Manson. Another really huge scandal that happened this year came from singer Marilyn Manson, and it caused a lot of drama in Hollywood and the music industry. It all started when his ex-partner, actress Evan Rachel Wood, came forward with an Instagram post calling out Manson as someone who had harmed her for a long time. In her statement, Evan cited how manipulative Marilyn was, accusing him of brainwashing her and telling her fans about how Manson had caused her so much mental, physical, and emotional pain. This caused caused even more people to come forward later on, including Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco, who came forward with some of the horrible encounters that she had with Manson. Following this scandal, Manson was dropped from his music label, and the LA County Sheriff's Department began an investigation looking into some of the allegations against the singer. At number 6, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. This year, the annual Met Gala came back after being skipped last year due to the pandemic. We knew that something dramatic was bound to happen, but no one expected that it would come from Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. AOC showed up to the event this year wearing a white dress that had the words "Tax the Rich" written in red on the back. It was designed to be a political statement about the ongoing debate on whether the wealthiest people should be paying taxes like the rest of us, but instead of sparking a conversation about it, people instead started calling AOC a hypocrite for trying to make this statement at an event that is attended by Hollywood elites who pay 30 grand for a ticket. This became a hot topic on social media and in the news, but AOC didn't really face too much heat for it. It just made a lot of people mad, but hey, it did get people talking, right? At number 5, DaBaby. This year, rapper DaBaby became one of the latest celebrities to be cancelled. He got into quite the controversy after he said some pretty offensive things while on stage performing at Rolling Loud in Miami. While on stage, the rapper made offensive comments about the gay community as well as HIV and AIDS, calling it a quote, "deadly sexually transmitted disease that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks." He also went on to say some more homophobic things about gay men that also added fuel to the fire. Celebrities like Dua Lipa and Elton John condemned the rapper's comments and tried to take the rapper's cancellation as an opportunity to educate the public on what DaBaby said, how it was wrong, and also put an effort into trying to educate the public specifically on HIV and AIDS to put the stigma spread by DaBaby's comments to rest. Because of this scandal, the rapper got into some real hot water with the LGBTQ+ community and lost a lot of support as well. At number 4, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Earlier this year, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry sat down for an exclusive interview with Oprah where they went in depth about their split from the royal family, as well as their feelings of having been part of it. A lot of information was shared as they opened up a lot about their life, and it ended up causing quite the controversy. The couple spoke a lot about their perspective of life in the royal family, raising their son, their marriage, and they also spoke out about their mental health. Meghan even opened up saying that there was a time where she wanted to take her own life. Her confession about having those thoughts ended up causing quite a controversy as people started questioning her mental health and whether that statement was actually true or not. The biggest debate on this topic came from TV presenter Piers Morgan, and he had a lot to say about Meghan and the interview. So much so that he ended up losing his job because he went overboard with the criticisms and hate, and the backlash he started to face made it difficult to continue. This interview was just supposed to be an exclusive interview to check in on the royal couple after they left the royal family, but because of all the information that was shared that day, it blew up into a huge scandal that was in the news for weeks. At number 3, Dr. Phil. Earlier this year, Dr. Phil was exposed and cancelled following rapper Bad Baby's YouTube video where she spoke out about the treatment that she experienced from a youth reform camp that she was sent to after her time on Dr. Phil's show. The rapper, whose real name is Danielle Bregoli, posted a video to her YouTube channel where she opened up about what she experienced, detailing how staff at the camp called Turnabout Ranch treated her and other kids. In the video, she shared how she was taken from her home in the middle of the night, handcuffed, and wasn't allowed to sleep or shower for 3 days. She also told her viewers that staff used restraints on people and that some people had also claimed to have been assaulted while there. Danielle exposed Dr. Phil because he was the one who recommended this camp and has been doing so for such a long time. People were absolutely furious with Dr. Phil because he condoned such a horrific place, and he was cancelled for it. Danielle demanded that Dr. Phil apologize for his actions and for supporting Turnabout Ranch. People find it hard to believe that he had no prior knowledge of what was going on at the ranch, and so when he faced backlash for it all, people said that this was all his own fault. At number 2, Jessie Nelson. On October 8th this year, former Little Mix member Jessie Nelson released her music video for her song Boys featuring Nicki Minaj. After the video dropped, backlash ensued as viewers immediately started speculating on whether or not Jessie was deliberately trying to portray herself as a black woman for the content, and people started calling her out for blackfishing. Blackfishing is a term given when a non-black person alters their appearance to resemble someone who is black or mixed by playing off black aesthetics and styles. In the Boys music video, fans pointed out that Jessie was using a lot of black-centric aesthetics, most noticeably a darker tan. But with this blackfishing controversy came more drama as people started looking into into Jessie's past with Little Mix. Soon one of the girl group's members came forward saying that she had actually warned Jessie about blackfishing and how it's wrong, but Jessie still did it anyway, and even went so far as to claim that no one ever commented on it until this video came out. It made a lot of people see how messy this girl group was and had people speculating what really went down when Jessie left the group. And finally, at number 1, Britney Spears. Probably the biggest scandal to come out this year was the Free Britney movement and the drama surrounding her conservatorship. After the Free Britney documentary was released months ago, people got to really see what Britney's life was like behind the scenes and how the people around her led her to where she is today. The biggest concern with this movement was regarding her conservatorship, as the public learned what the singer can and cannot do. Many people said that this hold on her life was too extreme and there was a battle to get her out of the conservatorship held by her father Jamie. Luckily, after multiple court cases, testimonies, family drama, as well as media coverage and social media support, Britney's father petitioned to end his daughter's conservatorship and he was suspended from her conservatorship as well. Now Britney is engaged and has more freedom than she has in a while.
And at number 10, the college admissions scandal. In 2019, the world was shocked to learn that the government had spent years investigating university bribes. The investigation, called Operation Varsity Blues, uncovered that hundreds of parents had paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to ensure their child got into the best schools in America. Even more shocking, some of the parents involved were wealthy celebrities like Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin. Huffman admitted to paying $15,000 to up her daughter's SAT scores, issued a public apology, pled guilty, then served 11 days of a 2-week sentence. Lori was accused of paying $500,000 to get her daughters into USC, maintained her innocence, and in 2020 was sentenced to 2 months in prison, while her husband Massimo was sentenced to 5 months. And at number 9, Tristan Thompson cheats on Khloe Kardashian. Usually someone cheating wouldn't be a big enough deal to completely overload social media, but in the case of Tristan and Khloe, the cheating was so outrageous that people could not believe it was really happening. The first time Tristan was exposed for cheating, Khloe was 8 months pregnant with their child, and videos and photos showed him out clubbing with women, and even taking one back to his hotel room. But that was not all. The internet broke once again when it was reported that Tristan cheated on Khloe again, this time with her younger sister Kylie's best friend, Jordan Woods, who was basically a part of the family at that point. Sources said that the NBA star was seen cozying up to Jordan at a party where they made out and were all over each other. After that shocking and embarrassing scandal, Khloe not only dumped Tristan, but Kylie was forced to cut ties with her BFF. And at number 8, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, people have speculated that rich celebrities have private islands where they participate in things that normal people could not even think of. And in 2019, it was exposed that those theories were true, and a good portion of the world's elites had participated in disgusting and illegal conduct while on Jeffrey Epstein's island. During that investigation, we learned that Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Bill Gates had connections to this island and were documented as friends of Epstein's. The ties to the royal family were the most shocking, and the public was horrified to learn that Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, were so close to the royals, they actually vacationed at one of the Queen's private residences. As of now, Prince Andrew is being investigated in connection with Epstein, and he's been stripped from the royal family. And at number 7, Jussie Smollett. In 2019, Jussie Smollett claimed that he had been attacked on the streets of Chicago by white Trump supporters, who told him, quote, "This is mega country," put a noose around his neck, and poured a chemical substance on him. Social media was set on fire after the attack and pitted Democrats and Republicans against each other even more than they had been before, especially since the president at the time, Donald Trump, was deemed responsible for the incident. However, months later it was reported that the entire thing was a lie and he was never actually attacked like he claimed. Jussie was arrested and later charged by the Chicago Police Department for giving them false information. Jussie was then indicted on 16 felony charges, and in 2020 he was indicted on 6 more charges. He has been found guilty on all the charges, although he still claims he is not lying. And at number 6, Kylie Jenner's pregnancy. Nothing broke the internet quite like when Kylie Jenner posted a video to YouTube sharing that she had been pregnant for the last 9 months and kept it entirely secret. Not only was she pregnant, but her daughter Stormi was born before the release of the video. Rumors had been swirling that she was pregnant, and it seemed likely because Kylie stayed at home way more than usual during this time, clearly hiding something from the world. In an Instagram post, Kylie apologized for keeping everyone in the dark, but said that she wanted to keep her pregnancy to herself in order to truly enjoy that time. For her second pregnancy, Kylie did not keep it hidden and shared tons of photos and videos with fans. Some fans were even convinced that she had already given birth to her second child and was keeping it hidden because of the Astroworld tragedy. But after the recent birthday party of Stormi, where Kylie was seen incredibly pregnant, it's clear that she is still waiting to give birth, but it looks like it could be any day now. Halfway, number 5, Monica Lewinsky. The scandal involving Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky is one of the most shocking of all time, and it's still so interesting to the public that the scandal was outlined in the latest season of American Crime Story titled Impeachment. In 1998, it was exposed that the President of the United States, Bill Clinton, engaged in sexual relations with a White House intern. At the time, multiple other women also came forward to expose his predatory behavior was a pattern. At first, he strongly denied it, but then a woman named Linda Tripp exposed that it was a lie because she had taped Lewinsky talking about her affair with Clinton. After it was exposed that he was a liar and cheater, he was impeached for lying under oath. He was impeached by the House of Representatives but acquitted by the Senate, so he remained in office until his term ended. In at number 4, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson officially lost it in the eyes of the world in 2002 when he dangled his son over a balcony in Berlin, Germany. People were waiting below and were horrified, thinking that Jackson could drop him. Michael later admitted it was a mistake in doing so, saying he was simply excited. He said in a statement after the incident, quote, "I got caught up in the excitement of the moment. I would never intentionally endanger the lives of my children." However, many did not accept this statement. Michael's close friend at the time, Uri Geller, condemned his actions, saying, quote, "I just would not put any child over a railing at such a height. I think it was a silly thing to do. He probably did it because he was overwhelmed emotionally by the fans." And at number 3, Martha Stewart. The queen of homemaking, Martha Stewart, shocked the world when she was sent to jail for insider trading. In 2002, it was announced that she was being investigated for selling off thousands of shares of a company called Clone Systems because she learned the stock was going to be dropping drastically and didn't want to lose money in the market. She served 5 months in prison for her crime, but shockingly, her time in the slammer did not affect her career very much. Right after she got out, she was back to work, and now it's safe to say her reputation is completely healed following this incident. And at number 2, Tiger Woods. Golf is generally a game that's pretty boring in terms of scandals. The league of golf is generally very professional, with little to report about other than the results of tournaments. But that all changed when the king of golf, Tiger Woods' private relationship was put on display, and we were all shocked about who he really was behind closed doors. In November of 2009, the National Enquirer exposed that he'd been cheating on his wife with a nightclub hostess. Days later, many other women came forward, and it was reported that he slept with hundreds of women while married. After many years of being blacklisted from golf, Tiger was able to come out on top once again and won the Masters in 2019. Although his reputation has been tainted once again after reports surfaced that he got in a terrifying car crash. His car went off the road and fell off a cliff, leaving his car flipped. And finally, at number 1, Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's acceptance speech at the 2009 VMAs is easily one of the most memorable of all time. Kanye West's interruption happened moments after Taylor accepted her award and became the start of a long-running feud that has pitted Taylor and Kanye fans against each other ever since. Kanye felt that Beyonce deserved the award more than Taylor and grabbed the mic from her, saying, quote, "Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time," before being booed off the stage. Taylor was later left back on stage to re-say her speech, but the damage was already done. Tons of celebrities came out on social media to defend Taylor against Kanye's actions. And at number 10, To Be Determined by Britney Spears. It has just been announced that Britney's first post-conservatorship project will be writing a memoir based on her life. She signed a deal with Simon & Schuster for $15 million after a bidding war with multiple other publishing companies. This deal is one of the biggest book deals of all time, only behind the Obamas, who sold their books for $60 million to Penguin Random House. A source close to Britney told Page 6, quote, "The narrative has been shifted time and time again by the media, paparazzi, Britney's exes, and even her own family. After being silenced for almost 14 years, she's ready to take back her voice, something that never should have been taken from her in the first place. Britney has had one of the most iconic careers ever, and we're sure she'll be talking about her conservatorship and family issues, along with her high-profile relationships and career success. And this is the first of many new projects she is coming in 2022. Britney has stated on her social media accounts that she hopes to record a new album soon." And at number 9, Inside Out by Demi Moore. Demi Moore's memoir is one of the realest out there, and she revealed personal details that no other celebrity would think of. She spoke a ton about her failed marriage to Ashton Kutcher, and even admitted they used to invite third parties to sleep with them to try and recover their marriage. Unfortunately, that tactic did not work. She also spoke about her insane rise to fame and the struggles that came along with it, like addiction. She dishes out messy details about her relationship with ex-husbands Ashton Kutcher and Bruce Willis. Moore also included details about her fling with Rob Lowe and her hookup with John Cryer, as he told the world afterwards that he lost his V-card to Moore even though he had slept with other women before her. And at number 8, The Secrets of My Life by Caitlyn Jenner. This memoir was insane because it exposed an entirely new side of Caitlyn Jenner the world had never seen before, even though Caitlyn had been uber famous while she was on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The book was so messy, it's the reason that the Kardashians cut Caitlyn off shortly after her transition. The book mainly focuses on Caitlyn keeping her true self hidden from the world, and she claims that Kris and the family knew of her gender identity issues years beforehand, but forced her to stay silent, a claim which the entire Kardashian family has denied. On Keeping Up, Kris Jenner said about the book, quote, "Everything she says is all made up. Why does everything have to be that Kris is such a..." Caitlyn responded to the controversy stating that she told Kris about her identity in the beginning of their marriage. At this point, it's hard to know who to believe. And at number 7, Down the Rabbit Hole by Holly Madison. After the show The Girls Next Door became a huge hit, everyone wanted to know what really happened to the ladies while they were in the house, and head girlfriend Holly Madison shared her side of the story in her explosive memoir. Holly spoke about the oppressive and controlling tactics that Hef would use to make sure the girls never left him, like giving them an allowance and punishing them if they tried to save it. Holly wrote in the book, quote, "Hef knew how desperate, sad, and broken I was, but didn't do a damn thing about it. I'd given 7 years of my life to a man who couldn't even have a conversation with me." She also revealed the bedtime rituals the girls would have to partake in once a week, and apparently all the women would have to go to Hef's room and take turns sleeping with him, if you catch my drift. Overall, Madison portrays Hefner to be a highly manipulative figure who prevented the women from having independent lives, and a lot of her stories have been confirmed by the other women. And at number 6, Open Book by Jessica Simpson. In Simpson's 2020 memoir, she put it all on the table, talking about her failed marriage to Nick Lachey, her career highs and lows, and her struggle with alcohol addiction. She admits that when she was a rising star, she was often compared to Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, and that gave her confidence issues. She also remembers the time when male executives called her overweight and told her that she needed to lose some pounds if she wanted to book roles, and this created a years-long struggle with eating. She was also incredibly open about her struggles with substance addiction. She admitted that she had such a bad experience on Halloween of 2017, she decided to go sober the next day. She was too wasted to help her kids get ready on Halloween night, and she slept the entire night and day so they would not have to see her in that state. Halfway at number 5, Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashian by Kris Jenner. The Kardashian family is one of the most famous and interesting of our time, and the family has been at the center of huge moments in history. In Kris's book, she focuses on the hardest time of her life, the trial of O.J. Simpson. Nicole Brown Simpson had been one of her best friends, and she even gave her daughter Kendall the middle name Nicole to honor her friend. In the book, Kris states how she knew O.J. was guilty, and she was heartbroken their ex-husband, Rob Kardashian, defended O.J. She spoke of the strain this put on their co-parenting and how it affected the kids. Kris also spoke about how she met Robert when she was very young, and she ended up cheating on him multiple times throughout the marriage. At the time the book was released, her daughter shared how hard it was for them to read these dirty details, and it mainly affected oldest daughter Courtney. And at number 4, Little Girl Lost by Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore had such an insane childhood, she had enough to write a memoir about when she was only 15. After starring in E.T. in 1982, she quickly descended into substance addiction, and it got so bad she was put into rehab at the age of 14. In the book, she revealed the tragic story of how she ended up in the party scene before hitting puberty. Apparently, it was all thanks to her mother. Drew revealed that her mother started pouring alcohol over her ice cream when she was only 7 years old, and she got drunk the first time at Rob Lowe's birthday when she was only 10. According to The Guardian, her mother first took her to Studio 54 that same year, and the pair often went to clubs throughout Barrymore's childhood. When talking about Studio 54, Drew recalled, quote, "It was like Disneyland for adults, only I got to be a part of it. We went out pretty regularly, sometimes once a week, other times up to 5 times, but nothing was never enough for me." And at number 3, Troublemaker Surviving Hollywood and Scientology. Leah Remini went from being a Hollywood actress to a woman on a mission to expose the truth about Scientology. In her memoir, she exposed the truth behind her shocking split from Scientology. She revealed that when she was only a teenager, she went to the Scientology-run Sandcastle Hotel in Florida, and like any other person, she wanted to suntan at the beach. But for some reason that was prohibited, and when she was caught, they took her out to sea and threw her off a boat, almost drowning her. That's not all. After she took food from the headquarters, she was fined $40,000. In addition to the book, she also has a TV program where she attempts to expose the secrets of Scientology. And at number 2, Family Rift by Tori Spelling. Tori Spelling comes from one of the richest families in Hollywood. so it's no shock that everyone wanted to hear the dirty details that the family kept hidden. Tori is the daughter of legendary Hollywood producer Aaron Spelling. Their home, called the Spelling Manor, is one of the most expensive in the world and was recently listed for $165 million. In the book, Tori spoke about her strained relationship with her mother. Tori accused her mother, Candy, of having an affair with a family friend while her father was on his deathbed. At the time her dad passed, Candy and Tori were not on speaking terms, and Candy apparently cut her off and gave her no money after she was kicked out. Tori was broke for years after and had to get money from friends to survive. Tori also claimed she learned about her father's death from an email because her mother didn't tell her herself. And finally, at number 1, No Lifeguard on Duty: The Accidental Life of the World's First Supermodel. This memoir by Janice Dickinson exposed the horrible truth behind her rise to become the world's first supermodel. Her life is so interesting that this was the first of 3 memoirs written by Dickinson. This memoir focused mostly on her life during the 60s and 70s during her early career. Her next focused on her botched plastic surgeries and struggles with eating caused by her years in modeling. People loved this book because of how honest she was about her rise to fame, even throwing some other celebrities under the bus in the process. She also doesn't try to depict herself as perfect, and she owns up to a lot of her mistakes, making it quite a refreshing read.
Number 10 on this list is J-Lo's and Alex Rodriguez's breakup. After 4 years together and an engagement, the pair cut ties and went their separate ways earlier this year. Now the breakup itself, it seemed rather amicable on the surface. They both said, "We will continue to work together and support each other on our shared businesses and projects. We wish the best for each other and one another's children's." Out of respect for them, the only other comment we have to say is thank you to everybody who has sent kind words and support. So, all of that honestly seems really nice. However, it didn't take Lopez very long to move on from A-Rod and go back to an old flame in Ben Affleck. Fans have speculated if there was potentially something going on between them prior to the breakup, but nothing of significance has gone to proving that. Meanwhile, A-Rod is still recovering from the loss. He's been posting a lot more on his Instagram in what fans believe is an effort to make J-Lo jealous. He has also been captioning things like, "I've fallen and I can't get up, and I'm good with that." But I'm not totally sure if you are though, Alex, because the day that the breakup was announced, he posted a video with Coldplay's Fix You playing in the background as he shared photos of him and Lopez very much in love. The super amicable joint breakup that was portrayed may have been a lot more one-sided than we initially thought. Number 9 on this list is the conflict that had arisen from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle with the royal family. The couple now lives in California, far from the reaches of the British crown. They no longer live near their relative royals due to some pretty bad blood that has gone down in the family over the past several years. In 2018, Meghan and Harry, they got married and they were immediately on the cover of every tabloid one could think of. What we weren't aware of though was that there was a little bit of trouble in paradise. The pair eventually stepped down from their royal duties as they felt increasingly ostracized from the other royals. A very close family friend came out and said, "There is so much bad blood in that family, it's toxic." Over this past year, Harry has apparently tried to make contact with his father, but has said that he's been cut out completely. His phone calls often going straight to voicemail. It seems that the bad blood is still very thick, and that even a move to California hasn't fixed the underlying problems that the royal family has. Number 8 on this list is less of a scandal and more of like a what? Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were on Dax Shepard's podcast having an interview when they said on that show that they don't bathe their kids until they can see dirt on them. Like, what? Like, how often do your kids have dirt on them? I can't imagine it's that much. This wasn't the end of this little tidbit of information though, because Kristen Bell decided that she wanted to weigh in on the pressing issue. She came out and said, and I quote, "I'm a big fan of waiting for the stink. Once you catch a whiff, that's biology's way of letting you know you need to clean it up. There's a red flag. Honestly, it's just bacteria. Once you get bacteria, you gotta be like, get in the tub or shower." End quote. So I hear you with that, Kristen, like I do, but I feel like I'm not the weird one for saying that having a regularly scheduled showering time is kind of the norm. I mean, at least the kids are probably loving this, like they barely have to bathe. Number 7 on this list is the pettiest move in history by Conor McGregor. Conor has been in the media a lot recently, but it hasn't been for his fighting prowess. It has been for various allegations that really put his character into question. One of these allegations was an assault
charge that he actually pleaded guilty to. Back in 2019, in an Irish pub, McGregor sucker punched a man in the back of his head as the man was drinking his whiskey. Clearly, they had had a verbal altercation, but it didn't need to go to a physical place. Even though that was 2 years ago and McGregor was clearly in the wrong, he hasn't let it go. In fact, in 2021, Conor returned to that same pub that the incident happened at, but this time with a big fat check. He bought that Irish pub from the owner, and directly after the news broke that he did this, he tweeted out, "Yeah, and your man's barred." This was in reference to the person that he had hit 2 years ago. So McGregor literally went out of his way to spend an abhorrent amount of money by this bar just so he could get the last laugh in a dispute that should have been settled years ago. If that doesn't scream petty, I'm not sure what does. Number 6 on this list is Chrissy Teigen. The 35-year-old supermodel and wife of musician John Legend had her name in the media for all the wrong reasons when she was called out for a controversial bullying scandal. Courtney Stodden, a 27-year-old supermodel, called out Chrissy for an array of bashful tweets and messages that left her feeling very small. After this came out, several others followed suit and reported that Chrissy had left them feeling worthless, with one individual saying that they even considered suicide after working with her. Chrissy Teigen took some serious time away from the media, and it seems as if that was the right choice. She's come back now and is apparently a stronger person. She says that she is over 100 days sober and feels a lot more clear-headed. Hopefully all of that is true and that the harsher side of Chrissy is left in the past. Number 5 on this list is the cheating scandal from Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson. It feels like this is a perpetual story in the media, but once again, it's glaring its ugly head in 2021. Back in March, Khloe posted a really cute Instagram photo of her and Tristan with their kid at a fancy event for Tristan Thompson's birthday. The couple looked really happy, and she captioned the picture, "The ones that are meant to be are the ones who go through everything that is designed to tear them apart, and they come out even stronger than they were before. Thank you for showing me everything you said you would, for the father you are, for the best friend I have in you. I'm thankful I can do absolutely nothing with you, and it feels like everything." Well, I'm happy that you feel that way, Khloe, but clearly Tristan did not feel the same. Only a few months later, the pair broke up again when Tristan was seen entering a bedroom with 3 other women and was apparently parading himself as being single. Apparently now, the pair aren't fully back together, but they're spending lots of quality time together. So we'll see how that develops in time. Number 4 on this list is Ioan Gruffudd and the whole incident with his family. Ioan has been in countless movies and TV shows over his long career, and his ex-wife Alice Evans is no stranger to movies and TV either, having been in her own fair share of things. Well, on January 6th of this year, she tweeted out, "Sad news. My beloved husband / soulmate of 20 years, Ioan Gruffudd, has just announced he is to leave his family starting next week. Me and our young girls are very confused and sad. We haven't been given a reason except that he no longer loves me. I'm so sorry." So yeah, that was a lot, guys. Now, first thing I would say about this is that when reading this now deleted tweet, you can tell that she's upset. And I mean, rightfully so. Her husband of 20 years is completely leaving, and you have a right to be hurt. She does say that he doesn't give her a reason, and I hate to say, but I do think he does. Not loving someone, in my mind, is a pretty sizable reason, but I can only imagine that after 20 years, that has to be a heartbreaking blow. Now, what has not been confirmed is whether he was leaving his daughters as well, or just wanting to separate from his wife. So we still don't really know about that, but this scandal has actually recently got a development too. Alice Evans has accused Ioan of having an affair for 3 years while they were together. Whether that's true or not, we're gonna have to wait and see. Number 3 on this list is Kanye and Kim. You had to know that it would be on this list, but the split between Kim Kardashian and Kanye West sent waves through the internet when it happened. The pair had been married for 6 years, however rumors started to surface about cracks in their marital foundation. This all came bubbling up to the surface when footage of Kim was released where she was crying to her sisters, "Why am I still in this, like, place where I'm stuck for years? Like, he goes and moves to a different state every year. I have to be together so I can raise the kids, you know?" She goes on to say that Kanye deserves somebody that can support his every move and go follow him all over the place and move to Wyoming. She says, I can't do that. I feel like an effing failure that it's like a third effing marriage. Obviously, Kim wasn't happy to be losing another marriage, but realized that it was in her best overall interest. The split was civil, however some lines from Kanye's album Donda allude to a lot of mistrust in the relationship. Clearly this marriage had been flawed for a while. I mean, Kanye lived in a different state than Kim for most of the time, and they barely saw each other. Not really the romantic foundation that a marriage should be built off of. Number 2 is Britney Spears' conservatorship case. Back in 2008, the pop star's career was put in the hands of a legal guardian due to her mental health being severely in question. The agreement had her father control her estate and other aspects of her life. Now this was intended to help Britney as she went to rehab and got her career and life back in order. However, she has come out and said that her father has done quite the opposite. That she was apparently drugged and forced to perform against her will. That her father prevented her from having more children under this thing. Basically, that he was running every aspect of her life and she couldn't live like this anymore. This sparked the social media to come to her aid with a whole movement that was meant to free Britney. Very recently, this goal was accomplished and her power-hungry father was stripped of his title, and thankfully Britney was able to get her freedom back. The whole thing is just so icky, and I for one, I'm really happy to see her getting some control back in her life. Number 1 on this list is the ongoing lawsuit against Shia LaBeouf. The former Transformer star has been in the tabloids for some time now due to a lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend, FKA Twigs, in regards to behavior during their relationship. Now the abuse that she was suing him over dealt with emotional and physical stuff that spanned their entire dating history. LaBeouf was dating Margaret Qualley at the start of 2021, but that didn't last very long, and amid all of these rumors circling him, the couple went their separate ways. It should also be noted that the actor has recently been dropped from several films and projects that he was supposed to be scheduled to work on. It seems like the common theme here is that his mental health is not where it needs to be right now. Substance abuse also seems to be a common topic in this lawsuit, and from others that have reported inappropriate behavior from the actor. Only time will tell how this lawsuit develops and if LaBeouf will be able to right the ship and hopefully get himself clean.
At number 10, Lil Nas X. Last year, Lil Nas X made a lot of headlines. He released a new album, rocked red carpets, but also got himself into quite the scandal as well. On March 26, 2021, Lil Nas X released his song Montero, or Call Me By Your Name, and both the song and subsequent music video was hit with a lot of backlash. The song included some adult themes, obviously, but the majority of the backlash for this release came from the rapper's music video. The video had a heaven and hell theme and included Nas dancing for the devil, so to speak. A lot of people didn't like the video because of how raunchy it was and because of the biblical imagery and themes. But as if that wasn't enough backlash, Nas also got into some pretty big trouble when he released a collaborative shoe with Mischief that they called the Satan shoe. These sneakers were a redesign of the Nike Air Max 97s, and because this design wasn't authorized by Nike, Nas and Mischief got in trouble. They also faced backlash for putting, quote, a single drop of human blood in the sole of the shoe. For a couple of weeks, Nas faced all kinds of backlash, but he didn't let that knock him down. He remained pretty unfazed by the whole thing and bounced back from the scandal with no problem, but for a couple of weeks there, he was definitely Twitter's #1 enemy. At number 9, David Dobrik. YouTuber and former Viner David Dobrik is one of YouTube's biggest creators, but last year he got royally cancelled. Other than being super popular on the platform with over 18 million subscribers, he's found success in Hollywood as well, as he's been cast on a few TV shows as a host and judge on a few game shows. However, this past year, David's popularity started to fall and his praise turned into scrutiny after people started coming forward with allegations against David. Former members of David's YouTube friend group called the Vlog Squad have come forward calling David out for bullying and creating a toxic environment, as well as orchestrating pranks that resulted in one friend getting hurt. On top of that, a former fan came forward naming a Vlog Squad member as a person who hurt them while they were under the influence, and also called David out for filming part of their alleged incident. Because of David's content, he caused a lot of controversy, emotional pain, and distress, and he's only recently bounced back from the drama that he faced in 2021. Before we carry on talking about some of the biggest scandals from 2021, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Armie Hammer. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this scandal by now, but this one had to be on this list because it was a the first one that really blew up in 2021. Back in January of 2021, some of ARMY's private messages with other women came to light, depicting the actor in a not so flattering way. The messages leaked by the Instagram page House of Effie exposed the actor for his bedroom fantasies, amongst other adult things, and this created a huge snowball effect that led to multiple people coming forward with their own allegations. Things took a serious turn, and soon an investigation was launched to look into some of the claims made by some of ARMY's alleged victims. Because of this scandal and its severity, this took a huge toll on ARMY and his career. As we know, no one is quick to forget a scandal like this in Hollywood, so as a result of the drama and allegations against him, ARMY started losing everything that he worked for, including movie roles and representation in the industry. No one knows what the next step is for him, or even if there is a way for him to salvage his career. At number 7, Marilyn Manson. Another really huge scandal that happened last year came from singer Marilyn Manson, and it caused a lot of drama in Hollywood and the music industry. It all started when his ex-partner, actress Evan Rachel Wood, came forward in an Instagram post calling Manson out as someone who had harmed her for a long time. In her statement, Evan cited how manipulative Marilyn was, accusing him of brainwashing her and telling her fans how Manson had caused her mental, physical, and emotional pain. This caused even more people to come forward later on, including Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco, who came forward with some of the horrible encounters that she had with Manson. Following this scandal, Manson was dropped from his music label, and the LA County Sheriff's Department began an investigation looking into some of the allegations against the singer. At number 6, DaBaby. Last year, rapper DaBaby caused a big uproar in the LGBTQ+ community. He got into quite the controversy after he said some pretty offensive things while on stage performing at Rolling Loud in Miami. While on stage, the rapper made offensive comments about the gay community as well as HIV and AIDS, calling it a quote, deadly sexually transmitted disease that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks, unquote. He also went on to say some more homophobic things about gay men that also added fuel to the fire. Celebrities like Dua Lipa and Elton John condemned the rapper's comments and tried to take the rapper's cancellation as an opportunity to educate the public on what DaBaby said, how it's wrong, and also put an effort into trying to educate the public specifically on HIV and AIDS to put the stigma spread by DaBaby's comments to rest. Because of the scandal, the rapper was cancelled, faced massive backlash, and lost a lot of support as well. At number 5, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan had a lot to say about the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview with Oprah that became one of the biggest bombshells of last year. During the interview, secrets were revealed, confessions were given, and it gave a lot of people a lot to discuss. One of the things that was picked apart by a lot of people were Meghan's comments on her mental health before they split from the royal family. Meghan said that she was really depressed and had thoughts of taking her own life. Piers Morgan decided to pick her comments on her mental health apart and said that in his opinion he quote, didn't believe a word that Meghan said. He criticized Meghan's mental health, and a lot of people saw that as going too far. As a result, Piers and the network he worked for faced mass scrutiny for saying such a thing about someone's mental health, as it was seen as diminishing and deflecting the severity of such a thought as taking your own life. Because of the backlash he faced, Piers announced that he would be leaving the network, but that he still doesn't believe Meghan's claim, saying quote, freedom of speech is a hill I am happy to die on, end quote. At number 4, Chris Noth. This next scandal was one of the last ones to occur in 2021. Sex and the City actor Chris Noth has been faced with allegations of inappropriate contact, and he's already started to lose a lot. This scandal is still developing because it's so recent, but so far other former Sex and the City co-stars have come forward to support the alleged victims. As for his career, he's been fired from his role on the CBS show The Equalizer, effective immediately. As he goes into this new year with this scandal, who knows how the year will pan out for him. At number 3, Chris Harrison. With every season of The Bachelor or Bachelorette, there's at least one scandal, but last year things were a little different because a pretty serious scandal broke and it led to someone losing their job. The show's longtime host Chris Harrison landed himself into some hot water last year after he started facing backlash for the comments he made about one of the contestants' past. At the beginning of the Bachelor season in early 2021, photos of one of the Bachelor contestants were leaked, which showed her in a few compromising situations, specifically of her attending an antebellum-themed party, and many fans saw this as highly offensive and racist. When the scandal first broke, a conversation was obviously sparked, but when asked about his take on the situation, Chris ended up offending some people as he responded saying that it was in the past. In an interview on Extra with former Bachelor/Bachelorette contestant Rachel Lindsay, when asked about this contestant's controversial photos, Chris was seemingly dismissive of her actions of her being at this party, and he continued to try and defend his stance, saying that he didn't want to make any comments before the contestant in question had spoken at first. Instead of helping the situation, fans of the show saw this as perpetrating racism, and so he was cancelled. As a result of this drama, Chris was let go from the show and hasn't really been seen much in the media since. At number 2, Gina Carano. Actress Gina Carano, known for her role on the Disney Plus series The Mandalorian, was exposed and cancelled for her old Twitter posts. Last year, Gina began to face massive backlash for her social media posts that exposed her ideals and opinions that many people took offense to. Though there were a few posts that garnered a lot of negative attention, such as her comments on putting your pronouns in your social media bio, the one that was seemingly the last straw for her career was a post that compared being a Republican to being a victim of the horrors from World War II, saying that Republicans are being persecuted because of their political beliefs. A lot of people took offense to this, and this led to even more backlash and to her getting exposed for her unpopular opinions. Other posts that caused Gina to face scrutiny include her tweets about voter fraud in the US, as well as posts mocking people who wear masks amidst the pandemic. Because of the scandal and all of the negative press Gina was getting, she was promptly fired from The Mandalorian and hasn't been seen much since. And finally, at number 1, Travis Scott. Travis faced a lot of backlash in the last few weeks of 2021 after the tragedy that occurred at his Astroworld concert. The rapper's performance ended in tragedy as the chaos that ensued during the concert left multiple people dead and hundreds injured. 10 people lost their lives due to the events that unfolded, and many others are still recovering from their injuries, as well as the families of those affected still trying to cope with everything that happened with their loved ones. There is a lot of footage circling the internet showing what happened that night and the madness that occurred during the performance, with people showing the crowds of people and some fans yelling "Stop the show." After the incident, we found out that the Houston police chief actually warned Travis about crowd control prior to the event, expressing his concerns for public safety. After people found this out, Travis started facing even more backlash, as fans said that if the rapper really listened to this warning, these casualties could have been avoided. Travis has spoken out several times on the matter, but each time he makes a statement, it seems to make the whole situation worse for him, which certainly is not helping his career or fame.
Number 10, Tom Hiddleston and Taylor Swift. If you've ever dated Taylor Swift, then there's a very good chance she's written a song about you. Swift has been basing her lyrical masterpieces around past relationships for a majority of her career. Splitting up with someone is never easy, but whenever this happens to Taylor, it gives her a chance to pump out another top charting track that is sure to keep us dancing the night away. This was unfortunate for Tom Hiddleston though, best known for his role as Loki in the Marvel Universe, briefly dating the singer in 2016, even briefly being dubbed Hiddle Swift by fans. That's so cute. The couple was together for a grand total of 3 months, but during that time were very public about their activities, almost trying to sell us on the idea that they were just so happy together. The timing of this was just a little too suspicious, as Hiddleston had just begun production on Thor Ragnarok, and Swift was working on her then unreleased album Reputation. The two seemed to be using the relationship's strong media attention to their advantage, with past album sales growing up to the point of Reputation's release for Swift, and buzz surrounding Ragnarok was in full swing till its premiere the following year, eventually becoming one of the highest grossing Marvel movies of all time. Yeah, sus guys. Number 9, Jennifer Lopez and Drake. It all started back in 2013 when Jennifer Lopez made a jaw-dropping entrance at the Grammy Awards. She walked out in a stunning off-the-shoulder black gown dress, and Drake's jaw dropped. The moment became a viral GIF, which certainly caught the attention of J-Lo, because over the next couple of years, Drake was spotted, popping up at a number of Lopez's All I Have concerts in Las Vegas, Nevada. In one instance, Drake posted a photo of himself holding J-Lo's diamond-encrusted hat while she slayed it on stage. Soon after, rumors began flying that the two had secretly been together for quite some time, with some photos suggesting that they were spending a lot of their quality time together. With no warning, Drake posted a photo of himself and Jen cozying up together, seemingly confirming the relationship. But many people were suspicious of the true nature of their relationship, including pop singer Rihanna, who unfollowed Lopez on social media following their announcement. The relationship eventually fizzled out at an unspecified amount of time later, and the two never spoke about it again. But these two getting together created such a buzz on social media that their followers grew by thousands, which was probably the real reason these two went public in the first place. Number 8. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. His skin was pale and his cold, and that's how Kristen seems to like him. The late 2000s were dominated by the Twilight series, films centered around Bella, a new girl who just moved from sunny Arizona to rainy Washington State, and Edward, a handsome but mysterious teen who, spoiler alert, he's a freaking vampire. Stewart and Pattinson played the characters over the course of 5 films, and the chemistry was very apparent, so much so that they decided to move that chemistry off the screen. Over the course of the 5 films, the pair would get together and split over and over, claiming the time and time again that they simply just needed a break from each other. Now, we didn't buy this for a second, as their reunions always seemed to take place on set filming the next movie, or just coinciding with the time of the red carpet events. It was just very clear that it was a Hollywood PR person forcing these two to continue pursuing something that may have once existed, but had most certainly been drained of its blood. Number 7. Steve-O and Nicole Richie. Steve-O, the stuntman, is known for doing some wild things. He's been blown up, shot out of speeding shopping carts, and he's even kicked a shark one time because it was about to bite his foot off. But the wildest thing he's ever done of all? He settled down. In 2006, himself and reality TV star Nicole Richie had been spotted spending a lot of their free time together at restaurants and parties and concerts. At the time, Richie's show The Simple Life, which was a reality show starring herself and Paris Hilton, was in its last season, and Steve-O was riding the wave of success following the recent release of a sequel to a movie whose title could get us demonetized. So it makes sense that Nicole would plot a publicity stunt to draw attention to herself and to attempt to keep a hold of her show. This did not work, as the show remained cancelled, and the pair called it quits only a few months after they had gotten together. Steve-O has since moved on, as is now engaged to his girlfriend, Lux Wright. Yeah, dude! Number 6. Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn. The Breakup is a 2005 romantic dramedy starring Aniston and Vaughn as a couple who are stuck living together following a nasty split that leaves them fighting for custody of their apartment. This sounds like a cute movie. You know what's even cuter? The pair became a couple in real life. They were regularly seen off set having dinner and snuggling up together, sparking news of another screen couple turned true lovers. Well, in 2006, that news shifted to accuracy of film title astonishes all, as the couple mutually called it quits, agreeing that the relationship had run its course. Convenient timing, considering for months before their film premiere, the couple was creating buzz online, getting people excited to see the real-life couple acting together on the big screen. But despite the attempt, the film received poor reviews and the PR play had seemingly proved useless. Now, while this may have been a stunt, the two recount sharing a wonderful time together, with Aniston even saying that Vaughn was the defibrillator she needed after a rough divorce from Brad Pitt. I don't know why that's a good thing. That sounds very painful. 5. Theo James and Shailene Woodley. These are some names you may not be super familiar with unless you were a teen in the early 2010s. James and Woodley are the stars of the Divergent series, young adult films about a dystopian future where society is split into 5 factions, and one girl who does not fit into any one specific category. Woodley plays the leading lady, Tris Pryor, and Theo plays the leader of Dauntless, named 4, aka Tobias. In the books, Tobias and Tris meet under strange circumstances and spark an intense romantic fuse. They then spend the next 2 movies running together from the faction elites. Playing a couple on set, though, seemed to have given the pair a brilliant idea as they began appearing closer and cuddlier as time went on. Many times in interviews for the second Divergent movie, the pair can be seen making cute comments and subtly flirting with each other, but sadly their fake love was not meant to last, as with the franchise coming to an end in 2016, so did their PR stunt. The couple maintained that the relationship actually never took place, but judging by the on-screen chemistry, that actually might be true. That might be true. Number 4. Kid Rock and Pamela Anderson. The Singer and the Lifeguard. Sounds like a cheesy sitcom, right? Well, that was the actual combo that took place when Kid Rock and Pamela Anderson began an on-again, off-again relationship in the early 2000s. At first only dating, on and off again, the couple were then engaged after a reunion in 2003. They would call it off one more time before they tied the knot officially in 2006, only to file for a divorce soon after that. The back and forth nature of their relationship is not uncommon in the world of Hollywood, with many high-tier couples breaking up and reconciling over and over again. But what is uncommon is that the couple were airing out every single bit of dirty laundry for the public to see, and soon speculation turned to truth, as it was uncovered by a Hollywood insider that the couple's troubled history and rocky road were merely an attempt to keep themselves relevant in today's media circus. The plan didn't work, as most of you watching this right now probably don't even care about these guys at all, and some of you might not even know who either of these people are. So if that's the case, please go find some good old seasons of Baywatch and prepare to be amazed. Number 3. Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield. For those of you who may have forgotten, between the original Spider-Man trilogy starring Tobey Maguire and the newest trilogy of Spider-Man movies starring Tom Holland, lived a little universe in which Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man, and Sony was his ruler. The Amazing Spider-Man franchise only pumped out 2 movies between 2012 and 2024. Garfield played Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, in the franchise, and fan favorite Emma Stone was cast to play his leading lady, Gwen Stacy. From day one on the set, the two were inseparable, spending every second of free time they had together and developing what can only imagine must have been a strong and long-lasting bond. However, these two getting together was just a little bit sus. People fall in love on set all the time, but this couldn't have been a more perfect setup if you tried. On-screen love interests who take up a majority of the film's runtime with their undeniable chemistry shining through scene after scene, not to mention they're together in the movie for real, like you fall in love with Gwen Stacy. Anyways, this almost feels like an extreme form of method acting, because the couple were together for the entirety of the franchise, 4 years, only to call it quits a few months after the premiere of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. They've maintained a strong friendship ever since, but we really do miss you guys. Come back, Gwen. Number 2. Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman. This PR stunt lasted for all of 2 weeks in 1998. Carmen, who was then popular for her skills as a singer as well as a gifted dancer, met the famous basketball player Dennis Rodman at a nightclub in Los Angeles. They exchanged numbers and Rodman bombarded Electra with phone calls after phone calls until she finally agreed to hang out. Classic move, Dennis. Negging. They started seeing each other regularly, with Rodman once even clearing out the Chicago Bulls training center so that the two could have some fun together, uninterrupted, and anywhere their little hearts desired. They got married like most couples around the time did, in Las Vegas, baby! The two were married on November 14th, 1998, only to file an annulment 9 days later. Rodman claims to have not been in the right headspace when he agreed to the marriage, and the two haven't spoken to each other in years. Reporters and paparazzi were very skeptical about this move, as the couple's ups and downs had taken over the media circuit for months, causing Electra to get her name out there more, which was super convenient seeing as she had just started building up her repertoire in the movie industry, starring in cult classic movies like Good Burger, as well as a recurring character on Baywatch. There's a good chance she would have made it on her own, but hey, it never hurts to publicly suffer first, right? Number 1. Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries. Kris Humphries is a former basketball player, and Kim Kardashian is, well, Kim Kardashian. The reality star and basketball player began dating in 2010 after his New Jersey teammate Jordan Farmer introduced them in New York. Less than a year later, the couple were engaged and officially married at a beautiful summer wedding. Of course, all of this was front page on social media and news outlets, causing a massive buzz for both the couple and the reality show. But after just 72 days of marriage, Kardashian filed for a divorce, simply claiming they were not getting along at all. However, Kris has a different story. He simply wasn't following suit with the family's plans, claiming that Kim made him sign a prenuptial agreement before the wedding, granting her 100% of their earnings as a couple should they split. Kris filed his own annulment, claiming fraud and stating that the only reason she married him in the first place was for the TV ratings. And this was absolutely true, as proven with her immediate bounce back to Kanye West, as well as the couple's time on the show being some of the highest viewed episodes of season 6. While Kardashian knew the relationship wasn't going to work out, Kris didn't, and the entire thing was very real for him. So like, hey, Hollywood, chill out with the fake couples for a minute, you know?